walk on the ground, breathe the air, and look at the sky as if Earth is the safest home. But have you ever wondered, how dangerous is our planet really behind the beauty of mountains, oceans, and blue skies? Earth hides forces powerful enough to destroy entire civilizations, volcanoes that can change the climate of the whole world, earthquakes that can flatten cities in seconds, and storms so massive they can swallow countries whole. This is the terrifying side of our planet, and knowing it is not to scare you, but to remind us how fragile, yet how strong, life on Earth truly is. Chapter 1. The Fire Beneath Our Feet. Let's start with volcanoes. To most people, volcanoes look like distant mountains, quiet, harmless, even beautiful. But inside, they are ticking bombs, holding unimaginable power. Think about this. Beneath the ground we walk on, the Earth's crust is like a thin shell. Below it, there is a layer of hot, flowing rock called magma. When pressure builds up, that magma explodes upward, breaking through the surface. That is when a volcano erupts. Now, you might ask, why does this matter to us today? Because volcanoes are not just spectacular explosions. They can change the future of life itself. Take Mount Tambora in Indonesia, for example. In 1815, it erupted with such force that it killed more than 70,000 people directly. But the real horror came afterward. Ash filled the sky and blocked sunlight, cooling the entire planet. The year 1816 is still remembered as the year without summer. Crops failed in North America and Europe. People starved, all because of one eruption. And then there is Yellowstone in the United States. It looks like a national park, a place for tourists to see geysers and hot springs. But Yellowstone is actually a supervolcano. Scientists say if it erupts, it could throw ash across the entire continent. Air travel would stop. Food chains would collapse. Millions could lose their lives. And yet we cannot predict exactly when it will happen. This is why volcanoes are not just local disasters. They remind us that Earth itself is alive, breathing through fire. Every eruption is a message. The ground beneath our feet is never truly stable. But here's the twist. Volcanoes also create life. They form new land, enrich soil with minerals, and even shape the atmosphere we breathe today. So, in a strange way, the same force that can wipe out civilizations also makes life possible. That is the terrifying paradox of Earth. The same fire that destroys can also give birth. And volcanoes are only the beginning of this story, because the next danger waiting for us is not fire from below, but the shaking ground itself. Chapter 2. When the Earth shakes. If volcanoes show us the fire inside the planet, earthquakes reveal the cracks. Imagine this. The Earth's surface is not one solid piece. It is broken into massive puzzle-like slabs called tectonic plates. These plates are constantly moving, but very slowly, like fingernails growing. Most of the time, we do not feel it. But when they collide, slip, or grind against each other, all that built-up stress releases in an instant. That release is what we call an earthquake. Now, here's the scary part. Unlike a storm or a volcano, earthquakes give no warning. 1 second, you are living your life, and the next, the ground beneath you starts shaking violently. Buildings collapse, bridges fall, and entire cities can be destroyed in just a few minutes. Think of the 2011 earthquake in Japan. It was so powerful that it shifted the entire island of Honshu by more than 2 meters. It also triggered a massive tsunami, which killed thousands of people and caused the Fukushima nuclear disaster. One earthquake created waves of destruction that spread across the world. Or take the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake near Indonesia. It measured 9.1 on the Richter scale, one of the strongest ever recorded. The tsunami it unleashed killed more than 200,000 people across 14 countries. It was one of the deadliest natural disasters in human history. But earthquakes are not just about destruction. They remind us that the ground we think of as stable is actually fragile and temporary. Every city, every monument, every home we build rests on a restless planet. And here's something even more unsettling. Scientists know where the most dangerous fault lines are, like the San Andreas Fault in California, but they cannot tell us exactly when the next big one will strike. It could be tomorrow. It could be 100 years from now. That uncertainty is part of what makes earthquakes so terrifying. Yet, just like volcanoes, earthquakes are not only about fear. They also shape mountains, valleys, and coastlines. Without them, Earth would be flat and lifeless. So again, we see this strange balance. The same forces that destroy us are also the forces that make our world beautiful. And if you think earthquakes are frightening, remember this. Sometimes the ground itself is not the only threat. Sometimes the oceans rise up with a power even greater. That is where our next chapter will take us. Chapter 3. When the Oceans Rise. If earthquakes shake the ground, tsunamis show us the fury of the seas. A tsunami is not just a big wave. It is a wall of water, moving faster than a jet airplane, unleashed by sudden shifts in the ocean floor. Most tsunamis begin with earthquakes, but they can also come from landslides, volcanic eruptions, or even asteroid impacts. Now, picture this. You are standing on a quiet beach. The sun is shining. The waves are gentle. Suddenly, the ocean pulls back, exposing the seafloor. Fish flop on the sand, and boats sit stranded where water once was. For many, it looks strange, even beautiful. But that is the deadly warning sign, because the ocean is gathering its strength, preparing to return with unstoppable force. When it comes back, it does not return as a gentle wave. It comes as a towering wall of water, higher than buildings, carrying cars, houses, and people in its path. There is no outrunning it. A tsunami does not just flood an area. it crushes everything. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami is one of the most heartbreaking examples. Triggered by a massive undersea earthquake, the waves traveled across the ocean, striking Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and even reaching the coast of Africa. In just a few hours, over 200,000 lives were lost. Entire towns were wiped off the map. Or think of the 2011 Japan tsunami, which we already mentioned. The wave was so strong, it carried ships inland, swallowed entire neighborhoods, and damaged nuclear reactors. The images are haunting. A reminder of how small we are compared to the ocean's power. But here is the part that makes tsunamis even more terrifying. Unlike hurricanes or storms, which can be tracked for days, tsunamis give almost no warning. In some cases, people have just minutes to react. Those who know the signs, like the ocean suddenly pulling back, have a chance to escape. But for many, the wave comes too fast. Still, like volcanoes and earthquakes, tsunamis are also part of Earth's natural system. They reshape coastlines, redistribute nutrients, and remind us of the deep connection between land and sea. Our planet is alive, restless, and constantly changing. And as terrifying as oceans can be, they are not the only force of destruction on Earth. Look to the skies, and you will see storms so vast they can swallow entire countries. That is where our next chapter will take us. Chapter 4. When the sky turns against us. If tsunamis show the power of water on land, hurricanes reveal the chaos of water and air. In the sky, a hurricane is not just a storm. It is a massive engine of destruction, fueled by warm oceans and spinning winds. These storms can stretch hundreds of miles wide, with winds stronger than tornadoes and rains that never seem to end. Imagine looking from space at one of these storms. You would see a perfect spiral, swirling like a giant whirlpool in the atmosphere, with a calm and eerie eye at the center, beautiful from above, but deadly on the ground. When a hurricane makes landfall, it brings three enemies at once: winds that tear apart houses, rain that floods entire regions, and storm surges that push walls of ocean water inland. The damage is not just physical. It destroys lives, homes, and entire communities. Think about Hurricane Katrina in 2005. It flooded the city of New Orleans, left thousands stranded, and caused over 1,000 deaths. The images of people trapped on rooftops or wading through chest-deep water became symbols of nature's unforgiving power. Or Hurricane Harvey in 2017, which dumped so much rain on Texas that some areas received over 60 inches of water. That is more than most places get in an entire year. The flooding was catastrophic, displacing millions of people. And then there is Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, one of the strongest storms ever recorded. Winds reached over 190 miles per hour, flattening villages and leaving destruction that took years to recover from. Here's what makes hurricanes and superstorms terrifying. We can see them coming, but sometimes we cannot escape their path. Satellites can track them days in advance. Warnings can be sent. But when a storm of that scale hits, no amount of preparation can stop the devastation. Yet, hurricanes are also part of Earth's balance. They move heat from the tropics to the poles, helping regulate the planet's climate. In their own destructive way, they keep the Earth alive and in motion. But if storms from the sky are not enough to remind us of Earth's raw power, there is something even more chilling, a force that can sweep across the land in minutes with no warning at all. And that is where our next chapter will take us, into the heart of tornadoes. Chapter 5. The Fury of Tornadoes. If hurricanes are giants that crawl across oceans, tornadoes are quick monsters that drop from the sky. They may be smaller, but they are some of the most violent storms on Earth. A tornado is a twisting column of air that spins so fast it can tear apart everything in its path. And unlike hurricanes, tornadoes can appear suddenly, with little warning. Picture this. The sky turns greenish, the air becomes heavy, and then a dark funnel cloud touches the ground. In seconds, winds roar at over 200 miles per hour. Houses explode from pressure changes. Trees are ripped from the ground, and cars are thrown like toys. The path of destruction can be narrow, but wherever it passes, nothing is the same. The United States knows this danger well. Places like Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas form what is known as Tornado Alley. Every year, hundreds of tornadoes sweep across these states, some small, others devastating. The Joplin, Missouri tornado in 2011 killed more than 150 people and destroyed thousands of buildings in less than an hour. The sheer speed of destruction left the city looking like a war zone. What makes tornadoes terrifying is their unpredictability. Hurricanes can be tracked for days, but tornadoes? Sometimes you only have minutes to seek shelter. Sirens go off, and people rush to basements or storm shelters, hoping the funnel will miss their home. Scientists have learned how tornadoes form. From warm, moist air, meeting cold, dry air, creating powerful updrafts. But predicting exactly when and where they will strike remains one of the biggest challenges in weather science. And yet, tornadoes are also part of Earth's natural rhythm. They release built-up energy in the atmosphere, balancing air masses and weather systems. Like every terrifying force on our planet, they play a role in shaping the world we live in. But storms and winds are only one side of Earth's darker face. Beneath our feet, the ground itself is restless. We began this journey by asking, how scary is Earth really? And now we know the planet we call home is not only beautiful, but also alive, restless, and sometimes dangerous. Volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes. All of them remind us that we are small compared to the forces of nature. But here is the truth. These forces are not only about destruction, they are also about creation. They shape mountains, carve rivers, form coastlines, and even help life thrive. The danger and the beauty of Earth are two sides of the same coin. So maybe the real lesson is this: respect the planet, learn from it, and never take the ground beneath your feet for granted. Because Earth is not just our home. It is also our greatest teacher. If you enjoyed this journey, do not forget to like this video, share it with a friend who loves science, and subscribe for more stories about the universe and our place in it. Together, let us keep exploring, questioning, and learning, because the more we understand Earth, the more we understand ourselves.